Night number 4. N1 Victory Tournament, Pro Wrestling Noah. I'm Adam Lavelle, the wrestling snob. We're talking about Pro Wrestling Noah's show in Korakuen Hall on August 11, 2024. Let's just jump right into it. Match number 1 was supposed to be Kaito Kiyomiya versus Atsushi Katogi, but Katogi is out, and folks, I said in the last show, I got to update it here. Katogi is out. He's not coming back. His injury has led him to be out of the tournament completely. His opponents that are scheduled will continue to get automatic points by forfeit. And that's extremely unfortunate. Goji Ozaki's replacement. Goji Ozaki's out due to injury. Now Katogi out of the tournament due to injury. So Kaito Kiyomiya picks up the points here. That bumps the second match to the first match of the evening. Ulka Sasaki takes on Alpha Wolf. Folks, let me tell you, I can't get over the enjoyment I have watching Pro Wrestling Noah and their matches. And it's very hard to explain to someone who doesn't get it. Most wrestling I watch, even companies I enjoy, there's something that sort of makes me groan, sort of makes me shake my head, sort of makes me wonder what is happening and why it's happening. Whether that be Stardom, New Japan, All Japan, when I was watching WWE all the time, when I was watching AEW. But Noah, when I watch it in matches like this, Ulka Sasaki versus Alpha Wolf, always leaves me happy and wanting more, even if the person I wanted to win doesn't. This match just continues to tell Sasaki's story. This guy was a flyweight in MMA, UFC, and I believe in a Japanese promotion, which name I'm going to forget. Very, very small guy. He has bulked up. I mean, he's actually huge compared to the flyweight he was fighting at. But he's not huge, but you know what I mean in comparison. And he has just adapted to professional wrestling incredibly. I'm not sure what I think of the gimmick. It's not overly done, so I'm okay with it. But it's I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be reminiscent of an anime character or what. It's not overly goofy or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm not sure what it is. But I like him. You can't help but like him. He's the national champion, the GHC national champion. I think he beat Hayata for that belt, but some of the greats of Noah have held that belt, even though it hasn't been around all that long. And he's just, like I said, he's adapted greatly. Alpha Wolf is a great lucha star. He's a larger man, so it's always interesting and fun to watch these bigger men do lucha, which he does wonderfully. It's just not that overly choreographed, flippy-floppy stuff. It's just solid lucha. You know, a lot of people don't understand that lucha isn't just the flippy stuff. It isn't, even though he can do some of those moves, obviously. Alpha Wolf, both of them wrestled like they were desperate to win because both of them lost their last match. So both of them want to get up to 4 points, and both only have 2. And that's how they worked it. Alpha Wolf took it outside the ring, tried to damage the smaller guy against the barriers, but what's shocking about Ulka Sasaki is he adapts to everything. He's like a sponge, and he just picks it all up, and he survived and fought back outside the ring. They then raked each other's eyes. The Alpha Wolf bit Ulka Sasaki. This match was wrestled as if both men were desperate, but it was still a solid wrestling match, not an over-the-top, eye-gouging, ridiculous, paint-by-numbers, hardcore type of fighting. It wasn't that. It just looked like two men who desperately wanted to win. Ulka Sasaki's ability to take damage from much larger, more experienced men is what's getting him over the top in wrestling and has him holding that national title, and is what he used here against Alpha Wolf until the time came that he could slip that ridiculously tight chokehold in and put Alpha Wolf out, put him to sleep, took him out. Ended the match. He didn't go to sleep. He had to tap out, or he would have, guaranteed. Ulka Sasaki's bringing that guillotine or that chokehold, that sleeper, whatever you want to call it, into pro wrestling and putting it to incredible use against every single person he faces, including the bigger, stronger, more experienced Alpha Wolf, to move on to 4 points. This was a great opener for the reasons I've just told you. And guys, you can talk about stories until your heart is content. But if you can't watch a match like this and matches like this and see the story being told in the ring, see the angle being told in the ring that I pretty much plainly explained to you, and enjoy that for what it is in the midst of a perfectly worked professional wrestling match, I don't know what to tell you. But for those of you who do get this, I am thankful for you, because wrestling needs more fans like you, the intelligent internet wrestling community. Hey, let me be honest with you here. I'm Adam Lavelle, WrestlingDoneRight.com, the Wrestling Snob, watching the N1 Pro Wrestling Noah Korek and Hall from August 11th. Anyhow, I want to be honest with you about these, like the six-man tag match we had as the second match up here. Kai Fujimura, Shuhei Taniguchi, and Shuji Ishikawa taking on Junta Miyawaki, Naomichi Marufuji, and Takashi Segura. I don't get super excited about these matches because I'm so amped and pumped and ready to watch the N1 matches, the single matches, the brutal matches, the matches that lead us to possibly the next GHC heavyweight champion, that I see these matches and I'm like, yeah, okay. Now, this is a preview match because, Taniguchi and Ishikawa are going to take on Marufuji and Segura for the GHC heavyweight tag team championships. And it didn't really matter to me. I wasn't excited about this. And I say that to tell you this, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. It's Pro Wrestling Noah. I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, throwing Kai Fujimura in here and Junta Miyawaki was just a way to make sure it wasn't the same match as we're going to see for the titles. But this was a nice preview, a nice way to show people who may not know what Ishikawa is all about. Though I must admit, I thought he looked a little slow here. I thought a couple of his moves didn't look as crisp as they did just a couple of years ago when I was watching this guy as part of the Violent Giants in All Japan. He didn't look bad, but I just thought he looked a little like he slowed down a step or something. Everyone else looked pretty tight. Taniguchi has been trying to get over as a top guy in Noah for what feels like forever. And it's not that he's a bum or not any good, but he's not been able to do it. He's never been able to rise above. I mean, this guy has done everything from wear a creepy, weird-looking mask and act like a monster to joining the disco team and everything else. And dancing to the ring and wearing a necklace and a crown. And he has done everything, and he's a good hand, he's a good worker. I have nothing against him, but he's never risen to the top. So I get a kick out of him being all excited that he's teaming with someone like Ishikawa, because he knows he's got a big power badass on his side, and having Ishikawa take out Segura here was a way to show us that you got to take him serious, right? I mean, he kind of manhandled our commentary team, Mark and Stu, had to think there for a minute. Sorry, Stu. Really put over that fact as well. So, hey, I'm not going to drone on about this match forever. It was good. It is skippable. It's nothing that's must see, but it certainly wasn't bad. And I enjoyed just seeing what Ishikawa could do here in Noah, and hopefully he picks it up a little bit more. He wasn't bad here. I just thought he was a little better than he looked in this match, but he still didn't look bad, if that makes any sense. Adam Lavelle, the Wrestling Snob from WrestlingDoneRight.com. We are talking about night 4 of the N1 Victory Tournament in Korakuen Hall on August 11, 2024. We are up to the third match, and this one shocked the hell out of me. I got to be honest with you. I guess it shouldn't have, because Masa Kitamiya isn't used on the level I feel like he should be. And that's nothing against Dragon Bane. That's who faced off here in this third match. Dragon Bane faced Masa Kitamiya. Now, I don't have a big problem with Dragon Bane winning this, which he did, and we're saying that right off the start. But this was a very good match. So what's my problem with that? Well, I feel like Masa Kitamiya should have pretty much controlled this, if not dominated it. And with Dragon Bane winning it at the end, like slipping a victory in. Not because Dragon Bane is bad, not at all. He's a very good lucha wrestler, a very good high flyer, and very fun to watch. I'm a fan of his and his brother, Dragon Wolf and Dragon Bane. They are the werewolves, I guess, of the luchadors. But no, seriously, Dragon Bane is very good, but he, as muscular as he is smaller than Masa Kitamiya. They could have played the game of him being quicker, which I guess they did a little bit. But Masa Kitamiya did get a string of offense in here towards the end. I mean, murderous clothesline, a big spear, a jumping pile driver. It looked like he about killed this guy towards the end, but he still goes down to Dragon Bane when he uses his brother's driver move, where he sort of like drives him down to the ground with a leg drop. You know what I mean? Like drops him down sort of like a pile driver, but bends him over with a leg drop on top of him. It's a cool move, but I don't know. I liked the match. I did. It was a good wrestling match. I just didn't want it to be a good wrestling match. I wanted it to be sort of Masa Kitamiya dominating him with strength and pure bullishness, because Masa Kitamiya is very difficult to hurt, right? He's very difficult to make feel pain. And this was a solid 50-50 wrestling match, evenly wrestled. Very well done. I just don't know if that's how this match should have been. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not angry with it. I had fun watching it. I enjoyed it. But when I look at it and break it down here, talking about it, I'm thinking, man, if Dragon Bane's going to beat Masa Kitamiya, it should have been like, oh my God, he snuck one out in the end and beat him. No, I'm not cheated or anything. Just snuck a big move in there, some big lucha move in off the top rope or something, and momentum carried him to victory. But instead, this was battle for battle, back and forth, straight up 50-50 wrestling match that Dragon Bane came out on top of after both of them, dished out onto each other everything that they had. And that says to me that Dragon Bane didn't just win this match. He pretty much proved he's the better wrestler. And I'm not sure I agree with that, but I'm a major Masa Kitamiya fan. So you have to take this how you want. Masa Kitamiya isn't used as a top draw for the most part. He isn't used in too many main events. He has been, but it's not often. He's sort of a high mid-card guy for Noah. I just feel like he should be a main event guy. And I feel like if he isn't going to beat Dragon Bane, it should have looked like he lost by a fluke or by the skin of his teeth. But that wasn't how this was. I'm fine with it, but I'm kind of surprised. You guys take it how you want to take it, and let me know if I'm wrong, I guess. Oh, baby. Manabu Soya versus Tavian Heights was wrestling done right in every way. I absolutely love this match. I'm Adam Lavelle of WrestlingDoneRight.com. We're talking about Noah's N1 Victory Tournament Night 4 on August 11th, 2024 in Korakuen Hall. Guys, my God. I can't believe the resurgence of Manabu Soya. Manabu Soya has always been good. I would say great, but he was never used in that role. Here, he looks like $1 million. He wrestles like $1 million. He's like in his late 30s, but the man can freaking go. And when I say he can go, I mean like a wrestler, like a fighter, not like an acrobat. We've got enough acrobats. And Tavian Heights, the former Olympian, this guy, you can talk about RKOs and DDTs and everything else, the diamond cutters, out of nowhere. This guy, Tavian Heights, can hit a suplex from out of nowhere. Not standing suplex. I'm talking about any kind of other suplex you could name. This guy can catch you and throw you in a suplex from any position. Even his simple suplexes are incredible because he jumps when he does them. And I don't mean a couple inches. I mean, this guy's delivering belly to bellies and bellies to backs and all different kinds of suplexes, jumping 4 feet in the air as he delivers them. He is incredible. And Manabu Soya hit this guy with everything, and Tavian Heights hit Manabu Soya with everything. And I use this expression a lot, but it's Bull of the Woods. Dusty Rhodes' famous saying, the Bull of the Woods, Daddy. Who is the Bull of the Woods here? And it came down to Manabu Soya having to hit 2 of his ridiculous clotheslines, his lariats, to take this kid out. I hate seeing Tavian Heights lose, even though I'm a fan of Manabu Soya, because Tavian Heights is the real deal. He comes into Noah and looks like $10 million. He's in NXT. I don't know. I didn't watch it. How did he look there? I've never heard of him, so it couldn't have been that big of a deal, right? And he's in that group that a friend of mine, Drew Gulak, was in. I know Drew. Worked with Drew on the Indies a lot. I've always been a big fan of his. Screw Ronda Rousey. And I never saw anything on Drew's social media about him. I don't know anything particular. And I don't know, I'm not blaming him or anyone or even really the WWE, but this kid's got it, man. He is really, really good. And this match was really, really good. It was simple. It was just 2 big bruisers tearing into each other. But that's one of the greatest things. Noah has the best heavyweight division in the world. Does that mean there's not some amazing heavyweights in WWE and maybe AEW? I don't know, Lance Archer. I don't know. I'd have to really think. But there are. Gunther, I think, is the greatest heavyweight in the world. And I'm not a WWE fan anymore. I tried, and it's not for me. But Gunther is amazing. The Steiner's kid, Braun Breaker, is amazing. But so is Manabu Soya and Tavian Heights. And they showed it here, and I loved it here. And I could watch matches like this all day, every day. And if you couldn't, well, go watch the trapeze artists. That's fine. Nobody's stopping you. But this was, I just love this. If this isn't my favorite match on the card, I'll be shocked, but there's a lot of good stuff left to go. Pro Wrestling Noah, baby. Awesome stuff. I don't care what anybody says. I'm enjoying Hayata and Yohei back together. And you toss in Tadasuke in there, you got a pretty kick-ass, fun group of wrestlers to watch. I'm Adam Lavelle of WrestlingDoneRight.com, the wrestling snob, the old man wrestling fan, the founder and creator of the IIWC, the Intelligent Internet Wrestling Community. And we're continuing our discussion about the N1 Victory Tournament. This is a non-tournament match from August 11, 2024 in Korakuen Hall, as we saw Hayata, Yohei, and Tadasuke, that fun team I'm talking about, take on Daga, Super Crazy, and Yu Owada. Now, we don't know what's going on with Stinger. How is Stinger not completely dead? It's just gone. Chris Ridgway never wrestles in Noah anymore. Ogawa is retired forcibly from a neck injury, unfortunately. I mean, who do we have? Hayata went over and joined his former friends. We got Daga and sort of unofficially official or official unofficially. Super Crazy, not in Stinger really. And I don't think Yu Owada is, right? I mean, he's still like a young boy. Good, but he hasn't really branded himself or gone on an excursion or anything yet, I don't think. So really, this is Daga, Super Crazy, and Yu Owada, a random three-man team against three of the most fun and talented guys in Noah. I put on Reddit how, asked, aren't you, who's happy to see Yohei and Hayata back together? And I got quite a few people saying they weren't. They didn't get really any hate towards them or anything, but, I'd rather see Yohei and Tadasuke. Some people were saying it's time for Hayata to move on and do something else. But what? The heavyweight division? It's tiny. I mean, he's a hell of a wrestler. I like the guy, but he is very, very small. And I just don't see him succeeding in the heavyweight division. It would look ridiculous. And Noah doesn't really, Katogi couldn't succeed in the heavyweight division. He tried and failed. Harada, didn't he try the heavyweight division for a while and didn't do that great? Hayata's smaller than both of them. I just don't see that happening. I like this team. Noah doesn't have 6-man titles, and I'm not asking them to get them or anything. This is an AEW, for God's sake. But Yohei and Hayata together are great, and you throw in Tadasuke, and it's just a fun, cool, hip, funny, but not comedy 6-man tag team. I like them. And I like the combinations as tag teams. I like that Yohei and Hayata's going after the junior titles. I think it's cool. Daga's a very solid wrestler, Super Crazy for his age and the way he's had to modify his style completely. He's pretty good, and Owada, I think, is going to be, I don't know how big of a star, but he's going to get there. This match was fun. It was a nice little interruption of the tournament with 2 more matches to go after this. And it's all Hayata, Tadasuke, and Yohei win, of course, when Tadasuke took out Owada. And then they celebrated together, posed together, talked about challenging for the titles. This was nothing special, but it was a fun little break, and I enjoyed it. Match number 6. You can hear it playing in the background probably. Another great N1 matchup, Pro Wrestling Noah, Korakuen Hall, August 11, 2024. Luis Monte versus Roye Oiwa. I'm trying with that name, folks. I am trying. He's a great wrestler. I want to try to pronounce it right. Roye Oiwa. But him and Luis Monte tore the house down. Great matchup. They shook hands after the match, and Oiwa kicked him in the gut and rolled out of the ring. Sort of a heel move from what clearly seems to be a babyface. But these two went at it for just shy of 15 minutes. I'll turn my background noise down. I really enjoyed this match. I'm not a big Monte fan, and it's not because he's not good. He's excellent. He's an excellent wrestler from Dragon Gate by way of Mexico. Nothing against him, but he's a Noah outsider. So for me, I mean, I appreciate that he's in Noah. I'm sure that he respects the company or he wouldn't be here. So there's no real reason for me to feel the way that I do other than just bias. I'm just biased against the guy because he's not a Noah guy, and he's coming in here beating Noah guys. But Oiwa, honestly, is a New Japan guy who will eventually be going back there, so maybe I shouldn't have the affection for him that I do. But I am way more familiar with New Japan and have watched it a lot in the past, so I sort of favor them over Dragon Gate in a big way. All that to say, this is, I don't know if I'll call it a must-see match, but it's very good. Oiwa looks incredible, but Monte looked even better. I think it would help me if I could just get over this bias. And I know I keep saying that, and I'm sorry for repeating myself, but it's like I don't want to say I don't like Luis Monte. He's impressive. But I sort of roll my eyes when he comes out because it's like, oh, here comes this Dragon Gate guy. Great. And he's going to go over some of the Noah guys and try to be a big shot. And I'm coming in here showing you how it's done from another company. It sort of bothers me in a way. He's got to face Jack Morris next. So I'll be a big fan of Jack Morris. I am anyway. But in that match, I most definitely will be. I will have to see how that goes. But again, this match was solid. Big win for Luis Monte. Oiwa needs to get back on track after this, honestly, pretty quickly. Because that draw did not help his point spread at all. If I'm not mistaken, I think he only has 1 point. I don't know how he stands a shot in this tournament, even though it's still, it's only night 4. But I don't know. Good, solid matchup, but it's pro wrestling. No, it shouldn't surprise me. The next match is our main event, and I'll be back to talk to you about that real soon. The main event. That's right, folks. It's the close of the show. I'm Adam Lavelle from WrestlingDoneRight.com. We're here to talk about Pro Wrestling Noah's N1 tournament from August 11th, 2024. We are up to Titus Alexander taking on Yoshiki Inamura in the match of the night. And you know how much I love just about every Noah match. This Titus Alexander kid is as real as they come. And every match that he has been in, from Keno now all the way up to Yoshiki Inamura, he has proven that he can go with any Noah roster member. And let me tell you, there aren't many in this industry that I would say that about, including some of the supposed best. What am I talking about? I'm talking about guys that can actually work. Not just perform, not just follow a script, but actually work a wrestling match. And if you don't know what that means, I'm shocked you like Noah. Yoshiki Inamura is a young star in Noah that has been moving his way up the roster for some time, working his ass off to do it. He is big, he is bulky, he is a monster, he is a beast. He's whatever you want to call him in regard to being a large, kick-ass wrestler that just does whatever in the hell he wants. But he's a friendly guy. He's a baby face. The fans love him. But the fans have come to like Alexander too, and for good reason. I'm telling you, this kid is something else. Taking nothing away from Yoshiki Inamura. Honestly, I thought Inamura might crush him. I'm sitting here putting Alexander over. How could you think that? Because I just thought there has to be a time that Alexander hits a brick wall, right? I mean, he's great. He's wonderful. He has shown off his greatness in every single one of these matches. I figure eventually he's going to come up against someone who's going to clean his clock. And I thought if anybody was going to do that, it was Yoshiki Inamura. And while he did, per se, in a way, Titus Alexander just kept up. German suplex for German suplex, hold for hold, move for move. For 18 minutes, this match went on. That's all number used to 45, 50, 60-minute matches, Adam. Well, good for you. Go watch those. This was a terrific 18-minute match that it looked like Inamura had clearly by the end. Now, again, Alexander was hitting his moves, but it looked to me like Inamura's moves were connecting more, were more powerful, were more jarring. I thought Titus Alexander, again, though he was hitting his moves on Inamura as well, and they looked good. I just thought the size alone, the strength alone, would allow Inamura to finally hit a German suplex or some move like that would knock the wind out of this kid and take him out 1, 2, 3, but the opposite happened. Holy hell, the opposite happened. Yeah. Titus Alexander pins Yoshiki Inamura after his big, ugly suplex. It's like a rolling German suplex, like a double one, where the last arch is incredible, and he really throws it down hard. And he pinned the Hulk, the much larger, much more Noah experienced Yoshiki Inamura, for a win. I mean, both of these guys are tied at 4 points now. If you've got 4 points or more in this tournament, you're doing well. I mean, we got people with 6. I think somebody might have 8 at this point. I'm not sure. But we've got several people with 6, a couple people with 4. But to be in the running still, when you're a gaijin and much smaller than a lot of the wrestlers you're facing like this, that is impressive as hell. This show was impressive as hell. 9 out of 10. I love this show like I almost always do, and I can't wait for the next one. Again, I'm Adam Lavelle of WrestlingDoneRight.com, the wrestling snob, the old man wrestling fan, the creator of the intelligent internet wrestling community, and we all gather at Pro Wrestling Noah, and I'll see you again for the next show before you know it. Please subscribe to the YouTube.